Look, man, look what it say, bro.
No battery.
Software update. Later, man. Later. Later. Dang, 124. Shoot. Man, why you turn it back dark, man? Oh, man. This is what?
Like the bass on.
Oh, this the joint right here. This,
Like that
this
bass
simple one is the joint. You know that's... Hey, man. Why you got it so dark? It's not dark. Man, that's dark, bro. Why you turn it back? Listen, man, you gonna make me... Listen, who else got that? You hear that, man? Right, you can play that anywhere. BET.
Anthony Jackson said, do one.
This your joint.
That's the second one. I got two of them, man.
Hey, bro.
I got two songs, bro.
Impress
I got
me.
two, man. And he got my name in it.
Spit some lines on that joint, man.
So much knowledge. What to do.
I want to hear you spit some lines on it, man.
Educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate.
What?
Educate,
What?
motivate, elevate.
Why you
Educate,
feeding it, man?
motivate,
Why you feeding it,
elevate.
man?
Educate your life.
We back at Drew Hall. We in
Hey!
the hallway.
Alright! Hey! Hey!
Lord.
There you go. There you go.
Hey! That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what we
It's the Drew
doing.
Hall 313 coming
That's
to
what we,
you.
hey, boy, that's 311, boy. 311, 311. Hey! Hey, boy, right across from the bathroom, right across from the slave shower. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm going to college, but I ain't always going to the slave showers. Good evening, good evening. Man, why you cut the music on? Why you cut the music on? We were just getting going, bro. All right. What? Hey, all
Talk,
right.
man.
What?
Talk.
All right.
Go ahead.
What? All right. Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. This is your host, Joaquin Thompson Sr. coming to you live from Little Burn.
Lil Burn.
Who?
Lil.
Lil Burn.
Yeah.
We coming live from Lil
Lil Burn.
Burn.
Come on.
First name Lil, last name Burn.
Boom.
Lil Burn.
Johnny Burns' cousin.
Johnny Burns' cousin. And we got a special guest in the studio today. Super duper happy to have this brother in here, man. This is one of my good friends, man, from it's crazy. I'm going to get into that because I was thinking about it when I was coming in, man. But it's James Peters, real estate extraordinaire. We'll talk about the rest of that in a minute, but wanted to welcome him to the show. And for those of you all that are joining for the very, very, very first time, the very, 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 very first time,
Come on.
right? Very, very first time. Let me be. I guess let me be proper.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
First things first.
Mhm.
Calling number 678-381-1973.
Say it again.
678 678 678 381 1973.
You said that.
678 1973. And y'all can call us. You got a question? Because tonight we talking about a very serious. I come on here, I joke a lot. I'm gonna joke some tonight, but tonight we talking about a very serious topic, and that is home ownership.
Come on.
That's right.
We talking about home ownership.
Yeah.
Now,
Creation of generational wealth.
Come on.
see, that's what I'm see, creation of what?
Generational wealth.
Okay, I mean, who after me? There will be more. That means there'll be leftovers. There'll be more food to be eaten by those that are coming behind you. You can't eat it all yourself now.
The table's gonna be full.
The table's gonna be overflowing, brother.
Come on.
But so we're gonna be talking about home ownership. But for those of you all that are joining for the very, 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 very first time, this show is about personal finance, and it's about personal finance from a spiritual perspective. We don't do religion on the Daily Bread radio show. We do not do religion. And the reason we don't do religion is because when you get into religion, things get real cloudy, Buddha, Christianity, Muslim. I mean, it's just, you know, Sunni, I don't know, all these different things. But the only thing we do, you see me do this, that means one thing, God. That's it. That's the shutdown. You call it what you want to call it, say what you want to say. God. That's all we do on this show. So, and every week we talk about a topic related to personal finance. And this is episode 124.
What is it?
124. You gotta play we gotta play that number, man.
124.
We gotta play 124, boxing straight. We gotta play that tonight. Might be too late tonight, but episode 124, what does that mean? That means I didn't just start doing this tonight. I didn't just start last week. I've been doing this for 124 episodes. You can go to my YouTube channel, Daily Bread Radio Show. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the channel. Check out, we got 123 videos on that channel. And we have everything on there, ways that you can change your life, literally. Like, you're going to laugh, but at the same time, there's things on there how to improve your credit. It's things on there how to eliminate debt. It's things on there talking about how to invest in real estate. We got topics, we got experts, land developers, tax experts, businessmen, celebrities. I mean, we got a little bit, everything is on there, 123 episodes, and after tonight, it'll be 124. So today's episode, though, is near and dear to me because as I do research, because one thing about me, I don't just come.
Lord, this is Wally Amos, and you are listening to the Daily Bread Radio. It's the best in radio.
What's wrong with him, man? What's wrong with him, man?
He was doing good, man. He was doing good, man. That's famous Amos, man.
Really?
That's the world famous cookie. Yeah, man.
Chocolate
We had
chip
famous Amos on. He was episode, what was that, like 51?
Yeah.
I think he was 51, man. And that if you've never seen that interview, man, that's probably one of the best interviews on the internet, period, bro. This brother, man, 82 years old, and he talked about everything that went down with his cookie company, and he talked about the importance of financial literacy because his joke was, I didn't know any of it. I don't know financial literacy, right? So, but the way it played out in his world was he was a master marketer because what a lot of people don't know is his background. He came from Philip Morris.
Okay.
Right? He was an A&R for Philip Morris, and he was the one, he discovered he discovered Simon and Garfunkel.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Philip Morris Agency. He was one of the first blacks to work at Philip Morris. So everybody know him about his cookie fame, but he was already breaking barriers. Right? It was no blacks working at Philip Morris when he went there. But it started off in the mailroom. So deep story, I'm not gonna get it, but if you haven't checked out, I think it's episode 51. But go back, you can listen to Wally Amos's story. We've had him on. We've had Saida Nairobi. She's a lead dancer for Beyonce. We've had her on. We've had Lee Baker. We've had some of everybody on here. We had a man on here. We had Ivy, Mr. Ivy. Had him on, and this brother here, his net worth $600 million.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? And he was on here. He was just breaking it down, talking about different strategies and things we need to do as far as he made it his, I guess you'd say, the lion's share of his wealth in network marketing. But he also talked about just key principles that we need to do if you're saying you want to be wealthy, right? If you're saying you want to move to the other side, what he calls the other side of money. So I feel very honored. I mean, if we've had people on, we raised money for people that were, sick. Young lady was on, daughter had a brain tumor. We had her on and raised some money for her. We had a couple weeks ago, we had the bishop on from the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
Just that, man, right? From, what is it, Abaco,
Yeah.
Bahamas?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Totally destroyed. That was the part of the islands that got just annihilated, right? He was on, and we joked about that. We're gonna raise some, supplies to send to Abaco, and he invited us to come down to Abaco. But I'm saying all that to say, hands down, this is the best show on the internet because each and every week, even though we laugh and joke, we're gonna have fun, but each and every week we talk about something serious, like what we're gonna talk about tonight, home ownership. And the thing about me, I'm not gonna ever come on my show and not be able to cite source, because I think that's very important, because anybody can just spew out some data or, oh yeah, it's this, but it's like, where you get that from? Like, anytime somebody says something, you should be like, where you get that from? So I like to, bring data, current data, and then also talk about stuff that's documented, right? And every week we always do a book of the week. We do at least one book, but some weeks, since you was coming on, I said, man, I can't do one. I got to do at least three.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Because
You got three good ones over there too.
These three monsters, man.
Right.
These are three monsters, and if people don't know about it, we'll talk about them throughout the show. But I want people to get to know James Peters. Give him your background. Like, who is James Peters, and why is James Peters on the show? Why you bring? I'm like, why I bring him on the show?
Who you is?
Who is you? Like, who is you?
James Peters.
Jay,
Look,
is that like a DJ?
It's like,
Are you trying to be?
Hey,
you trying to be a DJ, man?
Live.
Go ahead,
on the
man.
Daily
Look
Bread
at
Show.
Look at him training, man. Go ahead, tell him, man.
You know what? My background is one that well, simple enough. We met in '85 in Drew Hall on
Listen to
Howard
this.
University's campus.
Listen to this,
Right.
man. Is that crazy?
Man,
Is
that's
that nuts?
'85, dog. That's years, bro. What you talking about? 30.
Man, 34. And that
Yeah.
34?
Yeah, no, and to connect back with you, like when I first moved back here, you were the first one I saw in the mall.
Right.
In the mall, just randomly.
Right.
So,
But the
connect
crazy
back with
part, I mean, I was thinking about that coming in, James. The crazy part about life is this. Like, you from Boston, I'm from Florida. I come up to Howard, I don't know you.
Right.
Right? I don't know nothing about the third world. I don't know none of that. I'm like, I'm
Third
on my own.
Gotta throw it out
I
there.
don't know nothing.
Gotta throw it out there.
You gotta throw out the third world.
Hey, you know what? That was a melting pot.
Man, come on,
folks.
bruh.
My roommate from Cambridge, next door, E. Powell from Philly,
Come on, man.
Keith Grigsby across the hall,
Keep going.
Big
Big Paul,
Paul, Chili Williams,
Dan, Chill Will,
man,
Come on.
Mark Ricks.
Mark Ricks. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
that was just on our end of the hall.
Right.
You know,
right.
special shout out to my roommate after I got out of Drew Hall, Joe Cotton.
Joe
You know,
Cotton?
was in the building.
Kyle was your roommate?
Yeah, come on. Not in Drew. Both of us had single. Joe was on the 5th floor.
Okay.
He went down with
Right,
the third
right.
world. But the thing that I was driving there thinking about, I was like, bro, how I go from not even knowing you to like 34 years later, now
Right.
you on the show.
Tyrone Hankson, Mark Hudson,
Come on, man.
my crew.
Come on,
I
man.
mean,
Come on.
it's I mean,
Come on, man.
that was what.
Come on,
That's
Rod.
definitely Boys to Men. Rod Lee.
Come on, Rod. Shout out to Rod Lee, right? All the homies.
Yeah.
The HU
Yeah.
homies. But so I felt honored, man, to just see, it's good to see everybody when they posting different things, they doing it. But for me and you to reconnect and go out, play some golf, let me, put the thing on you. And we ain't gonna talk about that. Put the thing on you, I guess he thought
Don't believe it. Don't believe it.
I guess he thought since he ain't seen me, he's like, you play golf? I said, I'm all right. And then I put that thing on.
I know everybody on my page is like, yeah, nah, that ain't happening.
Oh yeah.
That ain't happening.
Oh yeah. But tell everybody about what you do, man. What's your thing, man? What you gonna help us out with
thing
today,
now, I was
bro?
talking to your man over there, and he talked about, my father was a minister, and he was saying, what's your, that I'm missing my calling. But no, my calling is in real estate.
Wow.
It's really to help folks, the joy I get out of seeing someone that, didn't know the path, new home buyer, step into that first home,
Right.
and create that path of financial wealth for their kids and their family. Man, it's incredible.
Wow.
It's incredible. Obviously, look, my background's finance, so obviously I got into it, thinking about money.
Right.
But man, there's a joy to helping folks, showing them the path to home ownership, and knowing how that has blessed my life. What my dad has done, he bought his house. I remember one of my earliest childhood memories is walking into, when dad bought that first single family home, and he was like, "Come on, son." And one night we went over there, we, brought some pillows and blankets, and we slept on the floor in that house. Right. And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm a man. I'm out here watching watching the house for my family. And that has permeated throughout, how, it's always been the thing to have that shelter,
Yeah.
but it's also a tool that will help you, you know, when times are hard or when you
No
know,
doubt.
Lord forbid, when my father passed, it became a savings account for my mom. You know, being able to leverage and tap into that equity.
Right.
You know, so I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's how, you know, when you think about the people that are rich in America, wealthy in America, a lot of that has a foundation in real estate.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You see all these hedge funds. You know, they ain't buying stocks. They're buying real estate.
Yep.
They're going through, and that's why it is a seller's market right now. Because I mean, quite honestly, a lot of them are going in, they're scooping up
Yep.
a lot of those properties. You know, keeping single family, keeping owner occupants from getting to it, or making it harder to get to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, I want to rest assured. I mean, give you guys faith that there's opportunities out there. There's houses out there for you. What you need to do is to have a great team. You know, a great realtor.
Look.
Hey, and
Second floor,
somebody knows the numbers, all right. To build, you know, you got to have a team when you go out there,
Yeah, no
right?
doubt.
Because I mean, you don't know the path. But what I'm hoping to impart with you today is just really getting an understanding of kind of what that process is to getting into a home, and letting you know that home ownership is possible. You know, it's something that you got to take your time, and it may happen tomorrow, or it may happen a year from now. But you need to plan, and you shouldn't give up on that plan. You know, to attain the goal. So.
And I mean, and what is this jumping right in? I mean, that's the whole thing about when we say home ownership. I don't think a lot of people, because even when I'm talking to people now, it's like it's 2019, and we still kind of like we playing around with the fact that, you know, maybe I'll buy a house, maybe I won't. You know, maybe I'll like shrug. Well, kind of like, well, you know, I got a nice apartment. I live in Midtown. I'm overlooking the city. And I'm saying like, bruh, you are giving away wealth. People don't understand how wealth is built, and in order for you to get a foundation, you're not gonna get wealthy living in an apartment.
Right.
That's it. Let's just get that out.
Right.
Now I understand it could be transitional. It could be, you know, this is what happened. You know, life happens. I get all of that. But that can't be your end game, especially if you're trying to build. If you're trying to build onto something, you have to have property. You have to have land. Because when you have land, you have options. Just like James just shared that story. He remembered when he was a kid. They moved into the house. He sleep on the floor. Then, you know, when his father finally transitioned, boom, we still got equity now. You got options. But if you had been living in an apartment all them years, that same scenario happened. It ain't nothing in there for you to go tap. It ain't no equity. It ain't no, okay, we're gonna sell it and then take part of the proceeds and do this. It's none of that. So we need to stop, and I was talking to somebody earlier, we need to stop pretending like it ain't a big deal, because it's a big deal. And I'm gonna just shoot y'all this right here. I've been doing some research recently, and I already knew this, but if you haven't seen the interview, take some time to go to YouTube and watch the full interview of Byron Allen on with the Breakfast Club. Because a lot of people are sending a little snippet about, you know, it's just an excerpt. But if you go in and listen to the full interview, he talks about the foundational piece to create wealth is home ownership. But the sad part is this. In our communities, in the African American community, the percentage of home owners is on the decline. It was at 46%. 3 or 4 years ago, we was at 46%. Now we're down to 43.
Wow.
We're at 43. And the thing that, and James, he'll touch on that, but the thing that the data is also showing is the average home price is going up. The average home price is going up, and it's going to get to a point where people are going to get priced out of the market. It's just you can just do the numbers, just do the math. So what I'm trying to impart upon people, like when you listen to the Daily Bread Show, bring on an expert like James, you know, somebody can tell you about what's going on. This is a real estate expert. This is what he does every day. This is how he eats every day, right? So don't think like, listen to somebody that don't know, oh, you can do that yourself. You can go on Zillow, you can go on Redfin. No, you can't, because you don't do that every day. You need an expert like you said, you need to build a team. So if nothing else, you can get the expertise from the stuff that he's learned being a real estate professional.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, James, take me from the top. What are some of the basic steps that people really need to commit to in order to secure home ownership?
Okay. Well, I mean, I think part of it comes down to is understanding why you're doing it, right? You know,
Right.
What are the benefits and internalizing the benefits that come to you from a home ownership?
Okay.
All right. You know, it could be, you know, there's certain sense of happiness because now you have a place of your own. All right. That's a real thing.
Oh,
I mean, that's a real thing in terms of how you feel about yourself. You know, now that you have your own property.
Right.
You know, but I mean, the financial piece is there's a tax savings as you get to write off the interest on that loan. All right. So there's a tax savings that, you know, you guys complain about my taxes are too high. Well, you don't have enough things to write off. You know, that's part of it. You don't have enough things to write off. What do you think Trump is doing? He writes off everything.
I'm trying.
All right.
I mean,
so you can get some of that. You can get some of that money that the government's taking from you back, but from that interest on there.
Yep.
Without, you know, you don't have to have another baby in order to get another write-off. Did I say that out loud?
No.
But you know, no.
Wait a minute, man. We like 22 minutes in, man. Wait a minute, we got a lot of show to go.
Let me go back.
678, the number to call in.
We gonna have no baby.
You know what I'm saying? He said you can get a tax write-off without having more babies. Okay. 678 381 1973. But go ahead.
Y'all
go
gotta
ahead,
tell me
man.
what I can and can't say.
No, man, this we didn't know you gonna come on here like
Right.
like Canaan.
No.
I thought okay, you didn't call with something. We're like, wait a minute, bro. Where'd that come from? You can get a tax write-off with having more babies. I'm like, wait,
No. But no, going back to it, you know, I mean, why real estate? You know, the appreciation of that asset. You know, you could buy a property. Like I bought my house when I moved back to Atlanta in 2016 for $217. I bought it from Rory Barrett too, from a Howard brother.
Yeah.
All right. Now the latest home that sold in my property is at $260. So 3 years later, $45,000, and all I did was sleep. Right?
That's it.
Pay my note and sleep.
That's it. Come
Same
in.
thing.
Come
you
in,
did.
go out.
If you were in an apartment paying $1,200
For 3 years.
For 3 years, you know, but I'm up $45,000. What are you up? When you leave that apartment, what can you take from there?
Right.
All right.
Right.
You know, so you get the appreciation of the asset, the equity, because I'm paying down on that note. So you know, it was $216, but now I only owe like $189. Right. So I'm paying down on that. I'm building equity. And you know, I mean, again, establishing roots in the community, and you know, while you know my kid now is in college, he's 22 years old. But they say kids that are raised in a home that their parents own, they tend to be homeowners and they tend to be smarter.
Wow. Now that's a new one, man.
No.
Whoa, I gotta write that
Some
one
of
down.
that's some of the benefits of owning a home. But really, it comes down to, you know, I mean, again, roots is important, happiness is important. You know, making money while you sleep to me is important. All right, but also it's you know, you building the community, right?
Yeah.
You're building another brick in that community.
Right.
All right, you're setting your kids up for, you know, their expectations now is, hey, when I get older, I'm going to buy a house.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So
And the other thing with that too, James, is awesome property, right? Because that's what the other thing that I really want to get out to people is, you know, when you get these, you know, mortgages, and you might say, well, I'm not even married, I'm single, because I get this. I'm like, but bro, you could get anything from a 1 to 4 unit property. You could live in one and rent the other 3 out. You could Airbnb the other 3.
Right.
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 So it's like,
well, I mean,
you know, you got to get into the game.
So you're single, and you know, right now you probably, if you have a roommate, why can't you buy a property and then have a roommate in your house?
Right.
All right.
Right.
So now you're both, you know, you're building equity. Your roommate, you know, is helping you with your property.
Yeah.
But you know, now you can set them up to buy one, and you can do the same thing over. You can rent, like you said, you can rent out rooms. You know, if you need to.
But what about all the people who out here say, man, I don't have the money. I don't have no money. I don't have the money to buy a house.
I mean, there are programs out there for down payment, you know, for down payment assistance. But you know, the reality is, you know what, you know, say you need to look at your lifestyle,
Right.
look at what you're spending your money on,
Right.
all right, and commit to the process, you know, to get into real estate. So
Right.
whether it's you know, saving some money, you can use gift funds from your family. All right, to get that down payment, but you know, I mean, really, it's a sacrifice you have to make, right? I mean, while there's free money out there, ain't nothing really free.
No.
All right, and there are programs out there, but you know, come to me, Can I give them my number?
No, hold on, man. Hold on. We ain't got the.
No,
you
no,
gotta
no,
get a
but
commercial.
really,
you gotta buy some commercial time.
Huh?
You gotta buy a commercial. That's next.
Yeah, okay. All right.
No, tell them where to reach you.
No.
You have to keep telling them.
You can reach me at 678-948-5502. That's Peters Legacy Realty Group. The owner is James Peters. I'm powered by Keller Williams. But my objective is to get folks into homes, whether you're a first-time home buyer, second-time home buyer, you want to sell property, I can help you release that equity in your house, and so you guys can take care of your dreams in your life, in your life. I had one situation where an elderly lady had given up on her house because she thought it was undervalued, But after the conversation with me, after I pulled the comps, I showed her that there was money there,
Right.
and we were able to release that equity. When she had moved in with her daughter back in Virginia, she was a Howard grad. Her daughter was a Howard grad. It was Rolo.
Yeah.
But we showed her how to get to that equity, sold that house, allowed her mom to have some money in her bank account,
Right.
and put that house back in the community for someone else.
Wow.
All right. So I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with real estate. Real estate is a tool. It is a tool.
Man, it's more than, the stuff that now, especially in our community, man, and that's why I really keep coming back to that, is because, in our community, it's more, to me, it's even more so than just a tool. It's almost like an engine. You know what I'm saying? Like, in all our neighborhoods, man, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
It's a haven. Right, because the thing about the life cycle, and this is what, a couple points that you brought up, James. One is, and the reason I was talking about when people come say, oh, I don't have no, I don't have the money. I'm like, one of the key components to becoming, financially sound is to develop a savings habit. The habit of savings is so powerful in your life, because once you can get to the point where you can start to save, and it's not about the amount, it's about the habit.
Right. Right.
Once you develop the habit, it's like any other habit. Maybe you eat cookies. I'm a cookie fanatic. So
Yeah, you are.
maybe you eat cookies, or maybe you do whatever. But it's a habit, right? Some people got OCD. Some people say, I got OCD. I like to check. I lock the door and check again. It's a habit. But once you get in the habit of saving, and then you have enough seed capital to do different things like a down payment or make closing calls. The one thing that we haven't talked about is this, and this is a wealth principle. And that's why I say for us, it's an engine. You could take $6,000, which seems like a lot of money, but it's really not when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, right? It might take you 2 years to save $6,000, right? But with that $6,000, you could control $200,000 worth of property.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they just say, hey, you bring 3% to the closing costs, you bring 3.5% on the down payment, and now you're controlling a property that's valued at $200. Or it could be $220.
Leverage.
You only brought $6,000 to the table.
Leverage,
and look,
leverage.
and on top of that, don't run into a motivated seller that's like, hey, I'm getting deployed, I'm ready to let's do the deal. Matter of fact, I'll give you some money on the down payment. So now you coming to the table with less than $6,000, and you controlling something that's worth $200,000. Why is that important? That's important because as you grow in your understanding of financial literacy, you can take that same concept, and this is what I call, you multiply it by 10. So when you multiply it by 10, now you come to the table with $60,000. When you come to the table with $60,000, guess what you're controlling? $2.5 million.
Okay.
$2.5 million. And you might say, that's a lot of money. Not really. Because guess what? You could have brought a house. He just gave you the scenario. He been in the house 3 years, and the house didn't appreciate it, and he's done paid down. He done paid the principal down. So he has a certain amount of equity now. He can have $30,000 in his house, and I got $30,000 in mine, right? What's that? 60. So now me and him can get together. Now we're not buying houses, we buying apartment buildings. Because the loan says, okay, I want you need to come to the table with 5% down. We're like, oh, okay, we could do that, right? So now the 60,000, now you control it. Okay, say if it ain't 2.5. How about 1.5? Would that work for you? If you could control 1.5 and you only brought $60,000 to the table,
That's a lot of doors still, man.
that's a lot of doors, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of cash flow.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about how you spend your money and what you do with it, every dollar has the ability to make you either more rich, some people call it wealthy, and they go back and forth, or it can make you more poor. Every dollar, every single dollar, whether you save it, squander it, spend it, how you spend it, who you spend it with, your return on investment, all of these things go in the home. And that's why I say when you look at a home is like, it's multifactorial. So with that being said, James, what are some of the steps that people need to take in order to be successful in the home buying process?
Okay. So, I mean, and I'm glad you said process, because it is a process
Oh, no
to buy a
doubt,
home.
no doubt.
It is a process to buy a home. So, I mean, the first step is it's going to, you gotta have a licensed realtor. All right. A lot of folks think they can go it alone. They can walk into those, even like a new build and walk into that building and think that person that's smiling at them behind the table is on their side. All right. No, you got to have your own representative. You got to have a licensed realtor, and you got to be, you can't be afraid to be committed to an agent. All right. And what I mean by that, some folks say, oh, okay, well, I don't want to commit, but look, you need somebody that does this day in and day out, who's thinking with your best interest in mind, right? And the only way you're going to get that is when you commit to a realtor, you sign that buyer brokerage agreement. Now that person has a fiduciary responsibility to you, all right? Before he's just, you're a client. Now, when you're a customer, he can tell you anything. He could tell you, he can give you advice, but quite honestly, he's not held responsible to you. But as his client, he is, right? So he's got to make sure that the deal is representative of what you want. All right. Second step is get pre-approved. All right. Get pre-approved. That is the only way. And don't be scared of sharing your information in order to do it. I mean, the reality is, everybody got warts. Everybody, I'm sure if this camera, got closer, you'll see all the imperfections over here. But I'm smooth as a. But everybody got.
Hey man, let me say two things. One, if you need a pre-approval, make sure you reach out to me. We got JL Capital, and we started the mortgage company for two reasons. One was to make money, but the primary reason, that was the second reason. The primary reason was to help people overcome the barrier of being able to get access to funding. Because that's one of the number one barriers to home ownership, businesses in our community is access to capital. Access to capital. So what I want to do is be able to put these people that James is describing, when they come, because right now, he's not even going to entertain anything about buying a house unless you got a pre-approval. So when you reach out to me, right, with JL Capital, you can reach us at 470-322-5122. When you reach out to us, we get you pre-approved. What that says to him is you're in a position to buy.
Absolutely.
That's it. And the second thing I was going to say to James, this is your last time being on here. I caught that, my face not smooth thing. So this is your last time being on the Daily Bread. But go ahead. You keep going.
Right. But no. Hey, we'll talk about that later. But get pre-approved. And quite honestly, this is where a lot of people fall out.
Yes.
Right. Because, they get bad news and they're not ready.
Right.
All right.
But the
that's
good
okay.
thing about, and that's okay, and that's what I'm saying is, if you get bad news and you're not ready, what we do, the thing that sets us apart from other mortgage companies is this. I try to take everybody to the underwriter. Right. I even take the clients that I know are going to be declined. Why? Because the underwriter is going to give me the keys to the test.
Right.
She's going to tell me exactly why you didn't get approved. So what I'm going to do is that's why we say it's a process. We're going to take that information, bring it back to you and say, look, you didn't get pre-approved because of X, Y, and Z. So guess what we get to work on?
X, Y, and Z.
Y, and Z. So
Absolutely.
when we overcome, we take care of X, Y, and Z. Now I can bring you back to the underwriter. Guess what? You're approved. Now you're ready to go to the third step.
Right.
And I take you back to James.
Right. The third step is that's when we start looking for homes, right? And everybody knows, oh, okay, well, there's a lot of tools out there you can look for homes, but really get with a real estate professional. All right, they'll give you direct access to the MLS based off the criteria that you tell them. Right, going to Zillow is okay, but quite honestly, that information is dated. It gets feed from the MLS to both sites. So you'll send me something and be like, okay, is this available? And I can see that it's already gone. All right, so get with me. Let me set up that search for you. Let me get the parameters in front of you so you see that on a day, whether that drip comes daily or you're looking at it, a couple times a week. But that's going to at least outline what you want. And then as you shape that search and you kind of narrow down what you want, we'll get out there and start looking at some of these homes. I spent all day today with 2 clients going out looking at homes. I probably saw over 12 homes today, and we've narrowed it down for a few.
Okay.
All right, so we're getting closer. All right, once you have found that house, then you got to put it in an offer. All right, now the housing market fluctuates between kind of a neutral setting between a buyer's market and a seller's market. Right now, this last summer, it was a seller's market, which means that there's multiple offers on homes. So you need to shape that offer correctly so that you will be the one, so that you'll end up in a deal. And what that might mean is making sure that if you have some additional savings, leveraging that as opposed to asking for closing costs. All right, but that puts you in a deal. All right, because once you're in a deal, now you're negotiating one-on-one with that seller as you go through the phases. You got a 7 to 10 day due diligence process where you get to peek under the skirt, so to speak, of the house.
Right.
Can I say that? Was that? Yeah.
No,
you get to look. You get to look into that house. You get to find out.
You can peek under the skirt of the house.
Yeah. You can or however you want to describe. But you get to investigate that house. You have an inspector come through.
Get your home inspection.
Right.
Get your home inspected.
Get the home inspector.
Get your home inspected.
You identify potential problems with that house, whether it's some of the mechanicals, the water heater's old, the HVAC it may be in great condition, so you don't have to worry about that. But you want to know what you're getting, right? Because you're spending a lot of money. You want to know what you're getting, all right? And then you can go back to the seller and say, hey, these are the things I need to address. Right. And then it's a negotiation period. You're going back and you're figuring out what is it I can live with. I mean, look, everything ain't gonna be perfect in a home. Home ownership comes with some home ownership problems, right?
Right.
It ain't all peaches and cream. But I mean, the beauty is on the end of it, you're getting back to those things that those benefits, the equity, the appreciation. You're gonna be able to tap into that down the road. So we shape that offer. We get you under contract, so you're locked in now, and we do the inspection. We get past that period, and you're comfortable with what you have, right? It goes back to the bank. Now the bank goes and does a couple different things. Right, if they haven't taken you through all the way through underwriting, they'll start doing that process. Yes. Right. So they're going to make sure that you're in good shape. So do not buy a car. Do not spend money on things you don't need. You don't buy that furniture yet.
No, listen. When you get into that process, don't buy anything. Don't buy anything, because any little thing that you buy, it could really jeopardize your deal, because what happens is, even though they've already looked at your credit, they've already looked at your financials, once you get into an actual contract, into a deal, they're going to pull your credit all the way up to the closing day. They're going to look at your bank account up until the closing day. They're going to ask you about money. Where did it come from? Where's the source? Let me see a copy of it up to the closing day. So don't think because you you in the home buying process that you can, I can just steal large purchases on credit cards. You can't be going out buying appliances. This ain't the time to be buying furniture, getting ready for it. No, everything is like, I tell my clients, just freeze. Just literally just Freeze what
and
you
you only
doing.
got freeze for 30 to 45 days.
That's
right.
it.
The one thing I did skip in there, so when you get under offer, you owe earnest money, so you owe a down payment.
Yep.
All right, and it's really it ranges for about 1% of the price of the house. All right.
I'm laughing because I'm-
It can be lower, but 1% is what is
That's
is the number
standard, right?
you need to keep in your head, right?
Right.
So 200,000, make sure you have at least $2,000.
Okay.
Right. That becomes
So
part
what
of your
happens
down.
with the earnest money?
Well, the earnest money reverts back to part of your down payment. So it's not like it's basically saying, hey, you know what? This is how serious I am about. I got to clap, right? This is how serious I am about buying a house, right? That I'm putting down 1%. Mr. Seller, and it's really letting the seller know that okay, fine, this guy, look, hey,
He's serious.
he's credit qualified. I don't know him from Jack, but he's credit qualified because he got a pre-approval.
Right.
He was willing to put down 1%. Right. That's at risk if you back out the deal. Now, don't.
That's
don't
why
back out.
I asked you. What's the earnest money? What
Well, yeah,
happens
but
with the earnest money?
the earnest money. It's basically saying how serious you are, but it's something. It's a bet that you're saying you're putting
Yeah.
it at risk.
You putting it at risk.
You're putting it at risk. All right. During that 10-day of due diligence, you can back out for any reason, but after that, there has to be something wrong with the contract, something wrong with the agreement that the other party violated.
Right.
All right. But that earnest money puts you in place. So you make sure you have that. Again, the inspection, you make sure you have money for the inspection. We usually range from $300 to $500. All right?
And the appraisal, because you're gonna pay for that.
And that's the other piece, right? So the bank is gonna say, okay, yeah, you like the house and you agreed on a price. The bank's gonna say, hey, let me check to see what this thing is worth. All right.
And you pay for it though.
Right, but you pay for it, but it helps you. It helps you because two things as a buyer, what that appraisal does. Hey, if you agreed on $200,000 and the bank comes back and says it's $189,
Yep.
right? Then you could turn to the seller and say, hey, dog, the bank ain't gonna give me $200,000 for
No,
this
because
house.
this is what the appraisal says.
Right. So either the seller's gonna even say, hey, do you got the extra cash? And you can say nope. All right. And they're gonna have to make a decision of coming down on that house. Coming down on the price on the house. So now you got an asset that you valued at $200,000, but you got at $189. Right?
Yeah.
So that's
That have another $11,000.
That's finished.
$11,000? No.
I've had that happen, and
I know it happens.
You know?
It happens a lot because people
Yeah.
will tell you how much the house worth. They'll put it out there, but that appraisal come back, like you said, that appraisal will come back. And the funniest part is the bank tells you, like, no, you pay for it. But again, that goes into your financial strength. You have to have a certain amount of savings, and you have to have a certain amount of things in place. Because say if you don't have the money to pay for the appraisal, now
Right.
things can't be that tight.
Right.
And you have to know as you're going through this process, it's going to be a 500 and a 300 and a 450 and a 250 and a 1.
But-
So you got to be prepared for that.
it's an investment in your asset. I mean, so
Yes.
that $300, $500 you spend on the inspector, right? That's making sure that property is fit for you.
Right.
That money you're spending on the appraisal is making sure that you're paying, you're getting value for your money. Now, let's say that same scenario, you bought at 200, and the bank comes back and says, hey, it's worth 210. That's instant equity.
Yep.
All right. So you up 10 G's. Get to the table quick.
You're like, come on, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah.
But but the good thing about that is this: when you start talking about, going through the process, and that's where a lot of people get tangled up. The thing that I always tell people is this, and a good book to reference on that is The Richest Man in Babylon, right? Because there's a chapter in The Richest Man in Babylon where he talks about where Banzar, which is one of the main characters, he started saving, but then he took his savings and he gave it to the Phoenicians. And the Phoenicians told him that he was going to go and buy him jewels. He was going out to the east, and when he comes back, he was going to have jewels. But the moral of the story was the Phoenicians were scoundrels. So they were really trying to con him out of his money. Anytime that you have your savings, that's why it comes back to get with a professional. Don't listen to people and take advice from people that they don't do this ain't what they do. Don't let them tell you, oh, my brother did that, you ain't got to do that. No, man, get you a professional team of people and people with money Like all these people, like they laugh and joke about Donald Trump. They laugh and joke about all these people that we tend to
They high professionals.
we detest, right? They got teams.
They got
teams
high
of
professionals.
professionals. They ain't got one attorney. They got like 6 attorneys, 6 accountants, 6 real estate agents, 6 brokers. So they're not going in there, you know, by themselves like, oh yeah, I know real estate, I know investors. No, they got people to help them do that. So what we have to do is change our mindset, the way we set our
Right.
teams up, and start investing in the team as opposed to investing in cable. Because if you pay $125 to $175 a month for cable, right?
Cut the cord.
You could cut the cord and get with a financial planner, a tax advisor, a real estate agent, and to think about who you choose to be on your team. Just say like James, right? When you go into situations when you're in a buying, what I call you're in a buying situation, right? This is one of the cardinal rules that people always do. I see it a lot of times and people don't get it. If you're buying a house now, right? You should be looking for someone to develop a relationship with.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? This ain't about I want to buy a house.
Absolutely.
No, what you want to do is you want to get into James's ecosystem, into his world. So even after you buy the house, you should be able to pick the phone up and say, "Hey James, look, my friend is thinking about buying a house, and I just want to know. I just want to get some advice. What do you think?" So James don't have you under contract, but he had a good experience, and now y'all developed a relationship.
Right.
And it's the same thing with the bank. That's why I keep telling people, stop banking with banks that don't know who you are. They don't know anything other than what you deposited. Get with somebody, a smaller bank, a community bank, a credit union, where you could at least have a voice and you could develop a relationship. And somebody like, you could develop a Mr. Drysdale type of relationship when you tell your banker, hey, let's go to lunch.
Right.
Right? Because that's what the people on the other side of the team, that's what they doing.
Yeah.
So you got to mimic that. So when you get into these relationships, real estate agent, home inspector, you know, appraiser, when you talking to these different people, establish the relationship.
Right.
That's what's going to take you further than just I brought a house.
Right.
That's
And,
nothing.
and the beauty of working with professionals is that, again, they network, right?
Right.
And I mean, like, quite honestly, look, real estate agents do this all the time. That's how they eat. That's how they live. Is by helping folks get into homes, right? Well, I know that it's great to ask, you know, your cousin that bought a house 5 years ago and what he did, and you try to share that experience. Keep in mind that things change very quickly in the real estate market and over periods of time. So you want a professional that, hey, I do this, I did this yesterday, I did this, I'm doing this tomorrow, I did it 10 times last week, all right? So they can tell you kind of what needs to be done, what those steps are, what's different than when your cousin bought it five years ago. Same thing with loan officers. They go through, they see people's financials on a regular basis. This is not personal, all right? It's personal to you, but it's we're not looking at it, we're not digging through it, and we're not saying, oh wow, this is what your credit is. I mean, look, my credit's been bad at some point. You know, everybody has taken hits, right? And you've learned that you learned how to improve it, and you want to share that knowledge with somebody, you know, so to give them a step up, right?
But that's what the show's about, because I mean, that's the biggest thing that keeps us, it holds us back, right? Nobody wants to talk about bad credit. Nobody want to talk about I don't have no money. But the thing that's going to liberate us is let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? Let's talk about some steps, things you can do. And that's what we've been doing for 123 episodes.
Right.
Things we can do to improve that situation.
Well, you know what I mean? Look, that's the problem we all have is, where, you know, a lot of us are so private, you know, in everything that we do, whether it's your finances or your health. All right.
I knew you were going to say that, man.
Man, because I mean, but everybody is going on these same journeys.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody's going on these same journeys. Even, you know, look, you know, marital bliss. You know, everybody's going on these same journeys. I'm not even going to expand this show. We're not going to cover.
We're going into relationships.
I'm a real estate professional. Hey, what time is my show coming on? No. Look, man, I ain't gonna steal your shot. I really appreciate you giving the opportunity to come out here.
Nah, man, but this, I mean, like I said, we joke, we laugh, but seriously, man, the thing I do with this show, man, I look out here And here's the thing that's even deeper than this, right? Kids, right? We got about 10 minutes left. Kids. We got kids that we have to train to these different processes.
Right.
So you can't take a process, and you learn it. So, okay, now you know how to buy a house, right? Okay, that's cool. But you got offspring.
Oh.
Some people say, well, man, I don't have no kids. You got nieces. I don't have no nieces. You got nephews. I don't have no nephews. You got the boy next door, right? You got the young lady at church.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to put yourself in a position where you can transfer this knowledge and you understand how to do it. You have to. You don't have to try to be like what I call like Yoda. You ain't got to be like all things. You just say, hey, bro, but I know somebody.
Right.
Right? It's just like when you in church. They be saying, man, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this, but I know somebody. I know somebody that can get you out of this, right? I know somebody.
I encourage all my parents that are buying a house to bring their kids to closing. All right, and the reason why you want them to witness that, hey, there's a process to this, that dad and mom they work for this. And you want them to see that, hey, there's an actual step where you sign all the documents, where you show this is you're getting access to ownership, all right? I encourage all parents to bring their kids to closing,
right?
Because look, the kids are always watching you.
Yep.
They're always watching you, and you got to demystify some things for them.
Now let me say this. Me and you ain't talk about that, right?
No.
Like that's what you do,
But
right?
that's a requirement.
But check this out. When was that? 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Right? 3 weeks ago, I had my grandson on the show. He's like the host. When he comes on, he's the host. I'm the co-host. 3 weeks ago, I went to a closing. I talked to you that day. When you called me, I said, hey, I'm on my way to a closing. That closing that I was on my way to, my grandson is 8. I took my grandson to the closing table.
Absolutely.
And when I walked in with him, the closing attorney, the seller, the realtor, my business partner, everybody was in all like, man, so you really bringing them to the table? I'm like, I want to bring him to the table so at 8 years old, he's not going to understand the full concept.
No.
But one thing he's going to remember is I went to a closing and my grandfather was buying some property.
To train up a child, what's the scripture? I
don't know, we got a minister.
The way they should go, so they would not depart from it.
It's same thing.
What else you know, man?
Train up a child. You bring them to those events. You bring them to those.
Tell us another one of them. Tell us another one. Get to work on time and don't be late. But it was so powerful because even though we joking about it, when I took him and he was sitting there and he was listening to everything, but then we made it tangible because then we start playing a game where you buy property. Mm-hmm. And when we got to that point in the game, I was like, that's when we was at the table. And I got the picture of him standing up, a group picture, me, him, the seller, the realtor, closing attorney. We all sitting there in a group picture. So when I give him that picture, when he becomes of age, when he see that, he gonna be like, oh, bro, I get it.
Make him Monopoly real.
Oh, yeah. Cash flow.
Make it Monopoly real.
That's it. Cash flow. And that's what my mission is when I come on the show each and every week is just to that. So that way, hopefully somebody's looking at this show and like you said, demystify, get out of that boogeyman complex, get out of that. I don't think I can do it. Everybody can buy a house. It don't matter. It ain't nothing stopping you but you.
Absolutely.
Right? We got a house. Don't let people say, oh man, it's this, it's that. Like, bruh, you get with some professionals. We strategize. We get you pre-approved. Because the thing is, once you can get some funding, we can find you a property. Once you get you some funding, we can find you a property. And if you're not ready to be funded, guess what we can do? We can paint the picture for the bank. We know what the bank is looking for, so now we're going to paint the picture. We may not need the picture for a year or so, right? But if we need it in 2021, guess what?
Right.
We're going to paint the picture now.
And you know what, again, keep a pulse, a finger on your financial health.
Right.
Right. So understand kind of what's going on with your credit.
Right.
Right. Understand what's going on with your savings. Put that money away.
Yep.
Like, hey, like you said, you can cut cable.
Oh, you cut
You
cable.
can buy a house from cutting cable. You just got to put it away and save it and take your time.
Do the math.
All right?
Do the math.
I mean, it adds up over time. You
Yes.
got, you may not be able to kick it this weekend.
It don't matter.
Right.
Because it's nothing,
Honey,
it's no
we
greater
in this
feeling.
weekend.
It's no greater feeling
Yeah.
in the world than when you first put them keys in that door and you walk in there and you look around and be like, bruh, this me.
Yeah.
Like everything in this
Yeah.
me. This ain't my
I'm gonna tell
mom,
you.
this ain't my dad, this me. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I know for me, it wasn't even about buying the house. I just wanted a place that at the time, when my mom was living, she couldn't come and turn my TV. I was like, don't turn the TV. That's all I wanted. But just and the house came with it. I just wanted a TV.
On my
that
list
she
of
could-
benefits, I'm not sure where to classify that. But you know what? But that's under happiness.
Yeah, that's happening.
You want your own.
Man, my
own
mom, boy, you could be getting good into the show, right? You be leaning in, you be like, oh, it's about to, she'll come right in as a group. Like, ah!
Hey,
So that was my motivation right there.
My dad used to say, "There's only one man in my house." Right? I was like, okay, let me be able to say that. There's only one man in my house.
That's what's up. That's what's up. But
That's what's up.
yeah, we definitely want to make sure that y'all stay. So Jay, tell them how they can get in contact. Tell them all the ways they can get in contact.
All right, you can
Everything.
call me at 678-948-5502. You can email me at jamespetersjr@kw.com. All right. You
Say
can
that again.
jamespetersjr@kw.com.
Okay.
My website is James Peters Jr.
Okay.
All right.
.com.
Google. If you Google James Peters and look for that brother with that classic smile. Okay. and that bald head. You'll find that. I look just like that.
You looking like Leo?
Hey.
You looking for Leo the Lion?
Leo the Lion.
I'm like, wait a minute, bro. I said get them where they can
But
find
no,
you at.
get
It's like
with me.
Tinder.
Tinder. Wow.
This ain't
Wow.
Match.com. I say, bro, get them yo.
But if you're no, let me stop.
Oh, Lord.
Next up is Jay.
Reach out
If you think you lonely now,
Reach out and touch that button. Reach out.
wait up tonight.
No. But hey, get at me. I would love to help you guys. I would love to talk to you about real estate. Love to help you put you in a position and connect you with a great lender.
Yes.
So we can get you pre-approved.
Yes.
And get you a step closer towards home ownership.
Yes.
That is really important for me. That's really important for my man right here.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
So
That's my passion, and at the end of the show, man, we always. So, what I'm gonna give y'all some food for thought. I mean, great show. We appreciate James for coming out, sharing that wisdom with us. Real estate professional, and this is just one of the team members, right? So, me and him collaborating. We're gonna do some stuff together, and that's the other thing about when you develop relationships. Then you can go into, business ventures together, and you reducing your risk.
Right.
So it's gonna be if you go in by yourself, you at 100% risk. You go into it with one other person, you at least at 50. Right? You say, well, shoot, all right, I got 50% of risk. I can put up half the money that I had to come up with, right? But wanted to leave y'all with some information that's deep. So as I run across stuff, I always like to throw it out there. So I was in Florida last month, October. Look, and I love when stuff is dated. So this was October the 10th. And the headline, this was the front page, right? Headline, paying for college. Debt weighs on dreams. For black families, loan program can be an anchor. Listen to this now. For black families, loan program can be an anchor on generations. Think it through before you get the loan. And what this article was talking about is, kids that are going to school, getting these loans, coming out with student loans in industries where there are no jobs.
right.
Right? So you got to understand, you got to treat that process like it's an investment. Right? So I'm not saying don't go to college, this, that, but if you're going to go, make sure you're going into something that you can leverage and you're going to have a return on investment. So I'm not going to, it's a great article. You can look it up. This is USA Today. So this is not something, fly by night. That was the headline when I was in Florida for the 50th anniversary of the Rangers and Reebok game. This was the front. When I walked back into the hotel, this was sitting on the counter. at the front desk. And I was like, wow. So this is what I do. Now, another thing that was deep, this newspaper is the Douglas County Sentinel. Now, check this one out. This one says, ribbon cutting hell for Members First. And Members First is a credit union. Now, listen to this. It says, Members First Credit Union, Alexander High School, and Douglas County Chamber representatives celebrated the opening of the Members First Credit Union in school branch by holding a ribbon cutting on Thursday. Now, what does that mean? This credit union, they have put a credit union, full service credit union, inside this high school. And they have the high school students running the credit union. I'm talking about full service.
Wow.
I'm talking about deposits, withdrawals, loans, everything is in the school. This is in the school. And it's located where? On Financial Literacy Way. They have a whole hall where they teaching financial literacy. Now, why is that important? That's important because the kids that's at that high school, right? How do you think they're going to compete with their peer group that's at their rival high school that haven't been exposed to these things? That's powerful.
Hands-on experience, right?
Hands-on. While you're in high school, you worked at the credit union, right? So you know debt to income, you know all of that. Today I brought in 3 books. We always do a book of the week. I'm gonna start with the real estate one first. And I've had this one on before. I told, if you don't have a copy, you should get a copy. This one here is by
Gary Keller.
Gary Keller. And who is Gary Keller?
With Keller Williams. He's the Keller in Keller and Williams.
He's the Keller in Keller Williams. And who's Keller Williams? Largest real estate firm in the nation, right?
And more importantly, that's, you know,
and that's who powers James Peters Jr.
They powered Peters Legacy Realty Group.
They powered
James Peters.
They
Who was
CEO.
James? Who was James?
Who was
He
James?
said, who is James?
James
guy with
James is right here.
The
And
cute
can't
guy.
be, James' show coming on the next hour.
So you want to pick up this because this is a pioneer in the real estate industry. And I read the book. I read it cover to cover. And the thing about it is, he's not explaining to you real estate from just a purchasing. He's explaining to you the whole industry and the game. He's giving you the game for $20.
The thing about this book and the thing about the millionaire real estate realtor, all right, it's a system, right? What he's saying is there's a process. He's gone out and surveyed investors. He's gone out and surveyed realtors, and basically the most successful ones. And he's laying out a process of how you can earn $1 million within that, based off the system, right? And the reality, everything that we've done, you know, I mean, is repeatable. There's nothing new under the sun, right? But it's making sure that you have that right formula. Basically, that formula, how to purchase a house.
Right.
That you know that formula. You're working with someone that's experienced, you know, and going through those various steps to get to that number.
And you've been exposed to the system.
Right.
Because see, that's the thing that we got to start to understand as a people is you don't have to worry about, it ain't got nothing to do with black, white, green, whatever. If you get exposed to the system will work for you. It's just like a car.
Right.
Like when you get in your car, you go to crank it up, they don't say, I ain't gonna crank it up because you black, right? It works for everybody. You push.
Hey, man.
You high end. Nah, I still, hey, I ain't even talking about that. The next book I think is extremely important. It's called Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. Now, for people that know about Rich Dad Poor Dad, this is the second installment of Rich Dad Poor Dad. So this is Rich Dad Poor Dad on steroids. So if you really want to know about investing, he's talking about real estate, he's talking about stocks, he's talking about businesses, how to leverage taxes. It's right in here. This is the blueprint. And then the last book, this is one of my favorites. This is from Kelvin Boston. I've had this on before. This is Smart Money Moves for African Americans. This book was written by African American, and it talks about all the different things that we need to be doing, from life insurance to investing in the stock market, to home ownership, to generational wealth, to wills, to estates, everything that we need to be.
Who's the author on that one?
Kelvin Boston.
Calvin Boston.
Yeah, you can't forget that one. Kelvin Boston, right?
Boston. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can pick up these 3 books. Make sure y'all reach out to James. If you're not in the Georgia area, I know a lot of people on from different parts of the country. Reach out to a real estate professional in your area. Don't wait until you think you're ready. Reach out to them and get ready. Let them help you get ready
If
for
you
it.
don't know a real estate professional, wherever you are, give me a call. I can find one for you.
There
Right.
you go.
All right, I can find one for you. I have a network. Again, we're one of the world's biggest brokerage. I have contacts all over. So
So there you go, man. So outstanding show, episode 124 is in the books. This is what we do each and every week. Next week, I'm gonna put it out there. I gotta, follow up with it. But next week, you definitely
Don't do
want
it
to tune in.
Don't do it yet.
Don't do that yet.
Don't put it out there yet.
Don't put it out there
They
yet.
ain't, they ain't ready. Don't put it out there yet.
they ain't ready.
Man,
You say
listen,
y'all ain't ready?
hey. Only thing I'm gonna say to you, I'm
ready.
gonna put it to you like this. I'll give them some of it.
No.
Listen, the person we gonna have on next
Big.
week,
Just say it's big.
it's
Tune
really
in.
big. Listen to this.
Tune
17 seasons.
Nah, you get too
17 seasons in the
much.
NBA.
Man, look here, you giving too much, man.
Two-time, listen to
Let me
this,
turn your mic down.
two-time
Let me turn your mic off, man.
NBA champion. It's gonna be right here with James is sitting next week. So make sure y'all stay tuned.
James might be sitting there too.
17 seasons. LA Lakers,
James might be sitting there too.
right?
Somebody-
LA
somebody
Lakers.
need to get
Oh,
it.
James can come back anytime. He on the team.
Okay.
LA Laker, right? That was one of the teams that he had his longest tenure with. 17 seasons in the NBA, two-time NBA champion is gonna be right here next week. If everything goes according to plan, if not, guess what? I'll be here. I'll be here. I'll be here. You know what I'm saying? So we'll do it all over again.
What's up?
That dude there keep talking, man.
Huh?
Every
Hey
Thursday.
man, hey, we going to the part 2. Don't worry about that music. Let me turn that down, man, for y'all.
Man, hey.
Let me turn one of these knobs over here. Hey, y'all have a good week, man.
All right, guys.
Rudy,
Just died.
Rudy, to
No,
the
just
good.
died. Your battery must have died.
Battery died.